So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining the RealNex webinar series. Today we have a special mastermind program sharing best practices and a day in the life, joined by Bobbie Mastracci. I'm Jeff Finn, CEO at RealNex, and Bobbie's been one of our long favorite clients, been with us from the REA days and migrated to RealNex and grew with us over time to be able to take advantage of all the power of RealNex, and has been one of the thought leaders with us as we've migrated and looked at how we can grow and enhance the platform. Wanted to work with her today to share how she's taking advantage of it with her team at Phoenix West Commercial. Bobbie's a CCIM, SIOR, and designated broker at Phoenix West, one of the leading brokerage firms in the Western Phoenix marketplace. And Bobbie has a lot to share with us today. So as always, we're recording the session and we'll have it for you in replay, and we will open up for questions. So Bobbie will take a little bit of time to sort of orient us to the day in the life, share some tips and techniques, best practices, of how she and her team are using RealNex, and then take a tour inside the application to some of the things that she does, and how you might be able to learn and enhance your experience with RealNex based on her practices and how she's been mastering the program over time. So Bobbie, let me turn it over to you. And again, questions, feel free to come in. We will curate them throughout and then have plenty of time at the end of the session to open up for a dialogue.
Okay.
Screen is yours, Bobbie.
Can you see my PowerPoint?
Yep.
Okay. So welcome everybody. I'm Bobbie Mastracci, as Jeff said. I've been a fan and a loyal user of REA or RealNex since 2007. Great customer support, always innovative, always making changes and doing new things for us. Always on the cutting edge. It's changed so much since the desktop, and it allows you to use it in the office, out of the office, while you're out canvassing. But a little bit about me, I'm in the Phoenix metro area. I specialize in the West Valley of Phoenix, and my area specialty isn't a sector, it's a geographic area, which makes it, I feel, hard. But I will share with you what I do and what my team does, but a little, wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm a CCIM and I'm a SIOR and also a Massimo coach. Just a little plug for Massimo. There's a Massimo Con in November in Dallas, and I can give you a code to save $250 discount. But I wanted to, so what on my tips and tricks is just how I use RealNex in a day. I'm not going to get into the details because you can watch videos on how to add a contact, how to add company and properties. But what I do in my rule of thumb is you start in RealNex, right? So as you start your day, and it's interactive, guys, so if you want to ask questions or yell out while I'm going through it, that would be fine. I want it to be engaging and allow you to learn to, so that you can incorporate some of the techniques that I do to make your business stronger. I will tell you, if you're not using a CRM and going off of spreadsheets and Outlook, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. This will help you be more productive, streamlined. It'll give you more time in your day, and it will really help you stop things dropping through the crack. But as soon as you get into the office or wake up, if you work from home, instead of jumping into your emails or social media, the first thing you should be doing is jumping into your RealNex. And you go to either calendar or dashboard, and that's going to give you your to-do list and show you what your day's compiled of. Is our day always what we have on our schedule? If you're in commercial real estate, you know your day never goes as planned, and you have to allow some white space to adjust and conquer. Emails are definitely a rabbit hole, a distraction, and a time suck. So if you can make it a habit to go right to RealNex every day, you'll be fine. A huge believer in, like, the second block there is time blocking. There's 3 components in time blocking for your business. And the first one is working in your business, and that's pushing deals forward. The second one's working on your business. And then, of course, for a balance in life, you need personal time. Every day of your life should have all those components wrapped into it. The golden hour, which is the bottom section, is 8 to 6, right? So 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. If you're in commercial real estate, these are times that you should be in meetings, on tours, or prospecting. And I'll go into that in the next slide. Whoops. So a day in RealNex. Again, go directly to calendar. Do not pass go. Do not pass calendar. You can also work out of the dashboard. As you'll learn, there's many ways to do the same thing in RealNex. You just have to find what works best for you. I sync. I use Outlook. Some of you use Gmail. I sync my Outlook with RealNex, and what I do is I pull my calendar out of RealNex out of Outlook into RealNex. So the only thing I put on my calendar and Outlook is to block time off for working in my business, on my business personal time, or anything that has to do with other people where I send a calendar invite, such as meetings, tours, and networking events. A day in RealNex. So working in my business, that's tasks to push deals forward. So to push deals forward, if I go and I have time blocked off on my calendar in Outlook to go and work in my business, I know I need to be in RealNex in doing all the tasks and follow-ups that I have listed in RealNex to engage and conquer. Can I just drag my screen over, Jeff, so that they can see what I'm talking about? Okay.
And while you're doing that, there was a question. Bobbie's going to talk about Outlook. She uses Outlook, but the same application, same functionality for, there you go, for Gmail as well. So Mark, we've got you covered with Gmail.
Okay. So this is what I have left in my week. What I was saying about working in your business and working on your tasks. As you can see, there's stuff that are above the timelines, right? And these are all the tasks and follow-up. Like you can see, there's 18 here. This is my to-do list today, and all the things I need to do to push my deals forward. And I'm sure you all know how, like, I saved one here, and I just click on it and hit finish and follow up. And you would have that attached to, if you have a project, a listing, or anything assigned to you, like a tenant or buyer or a listing, you would create that into a project. So let's just say this was PVOP. You would just attach it to that, and then your status. I have a whole list of the steps that I need to do to get through a property listing. And then you just schedule your follow-up. So if I'm talking to somebody on the phone, I come in here and I take all my notes, and then I schedule my follow-up. And I'm going to talk to her on Monday. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to mark it timeless so it stays above my calendar so it doesn't fall into any timeline. And then I'm just going to mark it as highest because I need to call her back and she's a potential client. And then when I hit save, it's going to show up on Monday to call her. But that's how you remove things from your calendar, push it forward so that you can set up your day. So all of these have all my notes And that all those notes just carry forward from the start of the conversation, so that as you're on the phone and you're trying to remember the 20, 30 people that you're working with, where we left off, what was our comments, what's important. And I just type my notes in there. You don't have to worry about capitalizing and exclamation points or anything. You just need your notes, right? Are y'all doing that? Is there any questions on that? To me, that's been the most helpful, because to remember all the people that you're working with and where you're at, things can definitely fall through the cracks.
While you're going through that, there is a question about iOS. So the syncs are with Outlook and Gmail. If you have your Outlook calendar displaying on your iPhone, you're good to go, and you can integrate through Outlook into the system. The other point about the phones is that while we have the website you can actually use from your phone, it's best to experience the RealNex through your RealNex mobile app. So if you haven't done it, there's a Android and iOS version of the mobile app, which gives you your calendar, it gives you your CRM, the full functionality and all the access to all your data in the palm of your hand. So fully functional. And not only do you have your CRM in the palm of your hand, but your deal rooms, as well as property listings. And we have a corollary tour book app as well. So just an aside on the iOS while you're getting to your next point, Bobbie.
Absolutely. And you can open multiple tabs, which I love. You bring up a good point with it having on your mobile. So these are all my projects. These are people, my lease listings and tenants and buyers and sellers. So these are all active and they're just mine. We do a shared database so that, because we do a lot of team work. Not sure where the mine button is, but you can click active and mine. Here it is.
There you go.
So I have active and mine clicked, and then there's different views. But many times I'm out on a tour and I'm showing one space and somebody wants to see another space because this one didn't work. I don't have all the codes for the lock boxes memorized, so I just come in here, pick, I don't have my glasses on, but if I click on one of the projects and I can pull up what the lockbox code is, right? So I either have it here in lockbox or I can go to notes. But if you didn't have this on your phone, then you have to call your admin and possibly miss out on doing a deal. And then while you're out, I'm going to jump. So no, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. I'll get to that part later. But definitely have it on your phone. You need it on your phone. So we did next is working on your business. Working on your business is prospecting, right? Presence, property canvassing, drive-by, professional enhancement study, pitches, and presentations. So it's all about your pipeline, building your pipeline. And as you saw on my projects, it all has to do with RealNex. So if you pull over here, and you do your view here's your pipeline. You can see where you are in your pipeline. Everybody has their own way of setting it up. Mine's from lead and prospect all the way through the whole transaction, booking the tour, space plan, LOIs, back and forth into negotiation, work in progress. So you can see where you are at any point in time in your pipeline, and then you can put values to it, and so you know where you are with your money as well. But you have buyer rep, tenant rep for a lease, and it's all, you can make it color coded. I'm still playing with it because the color coding's kind of new for me.
So
of course,
the deal types, as you said, Bobbie, the deal types and the stages are all configurable by you. So Bobbie has it pretty granular and has many different stages along the way. If you wanted to just see prospecting, negotiation, closed, you could do it like that, or you could be fully blown out to the full life cycle, every step along the way, as granular as you'd like to see it.
Yes. And I did play with it a little bit. My sons, like the two guys that were helping me get this uploaded, of course, they're younger and more techie. Theirs are all color coded. Everything has a percentage to it as per where they are in the process, and they specialize in sectors, so it's very streamlined, where mine has to be more wide to capture investment sales, land sales and development, leasing, and every product type. So if you specialize in a sector, you'll really be able to streamline and utilize RealNex yourself. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff. Let's say there's there's 5 agents in your office, and each person is in the shared database. They can all have their own layout and colors the way they want it, right?
Correct. Yep.
Doesn't affect mine because the boys did. I just wanted to make sure that's for how everybody's set up. And mark stuff private, so.
Yeah, lots of complete permissions and controls to see who can share, who can access, who can edit, who can output, all the different, there's a very detailed management of teams as well as personal security.
Yep, and as a designated broker, it's helpful for me to be able to see what everybody's working on, how many calls they're making, where they're at in the process. If something have been stuck in a process for a long period of time, then you kind of know how to help them. And if you're 3 or 4 people in a team and the landlord calls you, and you can just pull up the history of the project and say, well, we did this many tours and here's the comments, and you look more cohesive as a team. And then personal time, right? It's so important to refuel your soul. I like to run for exercise, engage with family, friends, and fun, have a reflection, and remember to celebrate your wins. Many of us have wins and we don't even celebrate it, right? So we're only as good as our last deal, and here we are running to get to the next deal, and we haven't even popped a champagne cork for what we did today. I want to hit reflection, so I do my reflection Friday. If I pulled up my calendar and looked on Friday, I have reflection Friday every single Friday. And what I do is I look at my week, and you'll see, like, here's mine and then finished. So these are the things that I completed today. So if I want to say, look, what went well on my week, I have all this is finished. I can see everything that I did, and it goes back, right? So you can come and take a look and see what you've accomplished, what went well, what didn't go well, and that what you're going to do is you're going to time block your next week. So everything is time blocked for the most productivity as you can do. I even time block travel, and if I don't have to finish it, then I just go in here and delete it, and now I don't track my travel time. Make sense? Any questions out there on time blocking? Miller, are you on?
Miller's there. Miller's your fan. Cheering you on.
Okay. All right, work in the day, we just went over at the calendar, your finish and follow up, taking notes. And next, so this is a big one for me, is all the interruptions in our day, right? So you have prospecting marked off and you're making your calls. You want to make sure that you take all your notes and schedule your next follow up. How I work it, if I'm working in my business, not prospecting, because I don't allow interruptions when I'm prospecting, but let's say I'm talking to you guys like earlier today, let's go to today. I was had an interruption on my day and had somebody call me. It was this person, the one that we tried to finish before. She called me. So what I do is I just say we're talking. I just create an event and I start here and I take all the notes of the phone call. And if it was somebody that is in our database, I link it to them and then I hit save and then I create my follow-up from there. But it allows you to, I don't know if there's any yellow pad users or people that write on Post-it notes, and then you get through your day and you're like looking through all your notes. Where was that? I can see it, but I can't find it. And who was that called me? I was supposed to call them back, but I don't remember what I was supposed to call them back by. If you're in RealNex on your phone in the car or sitting waiting for an appointment, if you have your RealNex pulled up, it's better than a notepad or a Post-it or something that you're going to lose and not remember to follow up with. You may think you will, but there's a good chance you won't, right? So that's
absolutely. Matt will tell you he's high on this, is that he uses the voice dictation, so even easier than typing from your phone. Just press the voice key or the microphone key on the bottom of the notepad and done. You just quick note and you're out.
Yeah, and like you don't, it even does better than typing it. Better than my typing.
Yeah, me too.
My son said, "Did you see my notes on that property?" I'm like, "What notes?" He goes, "I wrote them down for you." I'm like, "I can't read that."
One of the questions that came in, Bobbie, was you put everything in and then have to delete out your personal stuff, or what I've seen most people will do is have a different folder for their personal calendar events and not sync that one.
Right.
Just sync your business calendar.
Right. I do have my assistant needs to see all my personal stuff so that she doesn't double book me. And then she books my stuff for me. So the only reason why my personal stuff was on there is so that they can book around it. If I was booking my own stuff, I have 2 calendars, especially on my phone, so I know what I'm doing. If it's not on my calendar, it's not going to happen. I missed my best friend's 60th birthday party because I forgot to put it on my calendar. But yeah, good point. Yeah, I do have to delete out travel because I have to have that in there, but I'm not going to record it. You know what? It may be a good idea to put your mileage notes and your gas notes in there, so when you get audited, it's all in there. You'd have a record of it. That may be a good idea. And then link to contact, company, and project, right? So you kind of probably already know that when you're booking appointments or follow-up, everything's connected. You can have the contacts. The contact is connected to the company, all that can be connected to the project. And it can also be connected to comps and properties. And again, most important, don't forget to schedule your follow-up.
That's one of the real powers of RealNex. That's the fully relational structure of it, that anything can be related to anything in multiple ways. So it's not just the one to many, it's many to many. And there some other systems are, if you change the owner, if you change the contact at a company, for example, that then is associated to all the properties that company owns, rather than it being you have to go into every property and now change the owner at every property. If you have it set up properly, not only do you have the company set there, but the primary contact for that automatically links across the portfolio.
Right, and just if you go to company too and they move their location, all you have to do is go to company, change the address or website or whatever change, and it changes it for all the contacts that are linked to the company. Such a time saver. Yeah, so company, contact, property, tenants, and when your analysis This is what I love about it. You have, let's say, project. So you have your contact, your project, you build your property, and then from property, you can do an analysis, create a broker opinion of value, a listing pitch, all from RealNex. So it makes it a one-stop shop. You don't have to go, and you can do an email campaign. You don't have to jump out of one program and go to Constant Contact or Monkey Survey or whatever, and then it tracks everything for you. So if somebody clicks or opens, you can see who in your database did, and you have their contact information, and it's good for tracking and reporting to the owner. So that was kind of the finish about us. Phoenix West Commercial was born on September 27th, 2012. We just celebrated our 12th year anniversary. We're a boutique brokerage in the West Valley of Phoenix. It's a family business, so my two sons are here as agents. We have an administrator, Danielle Jurgens. She's also licensed. Former principal, master's degree. She does all of our legal documents for us that agents are allowed to do in Arizona. We pride ourselves on service with hospitality. So you can't put a mint on a pillow if the hotel room is dirty, right? So we take it an extra notch and throw in hospitality. And then our motto is empowering your journey from vision to legacy. So we meet with our clients and we call it a discovery meeting. We talk about how they got here, where they're going, and what their future plans are. 92.8% of our business is repeat or referral from other agents or clients. And happy to answer any questions you guys have.
If you have any business in the Phoenix area, Bobbie's happy to help you, I'm sure. Yeah. So Bobbie, that's great. Thank you very much. So one of the thoughts I have, and some of the things I think you are talking about, which I think is critical, and particularly people that are new to a CRM, new to a system, is the habit building. It seems like, and just maybe describe it, you turn RealNex on and it's there live all day. You're not in it, out of it, in it, out of it. It's the backbone always there when you come back to your screen. So maybe how do you build those habits? You have the time blocking. I think that was critical to it. What else are you doing? If you like when your team started, how did you get them to engage and to get them to implement the best practices that you're sharing?
So when I joined Don Bennett and Associates, I'm sure you remember them, in 2007. They had a team of 11 land brokers, and then the market tanked, and I was still bringing in 6 digits, and they're all wondering how I was doing it. And I will tell you, it has to do with a CRM. I'm one of the top producers in our area, and I guarantee you, if I didn't have RealNex and used it faithfully and habitually, my business wouldn't be where it is today. And creating habits and staying in RealNex and working through your tasks, it keeps you focused. So we all have ADD or whatever it's called, and you have that shiny object over to the side and get sidetracked and run down the tunnel. If you can keep yourself coming back to your RealNex calendar or dashboard and just stay in that day, like usually I'll work out a 1 calendar day, not the full week, because I have that, like, oh my gosh, what about this? What about that? And if you finish and hit follow up and just get it on your calendar, it snowballs, right? So when you first get started working out a RealNex, there's nothing in there, right? There's no to-do list. But as you start and work your way, so let's say today you start and you're talking to a client, you put that client in RealNex, You take notes on your conversation and you say, okay, I'm going to call you the first week of next month. Put it on your calendar for the first week of next month in one of those to-dos where it's not really time block unless you give them a specific time, especially for prospecting. How many people say, I'm going to call you next month, I'll call you next month? They're so inundated in their business instead of prospecting, they forget all about you. And then somebody else calls them and they get the listing because you never followed up and called them back. We're all guilty of it, right? Well, RealNex is a way to help you from not letting that happen to the best of the ability. You know, knowing isn't doing, knowing isn't doing. So you have to, know it, so just do it. Make it a habit.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've heard the story of someone signing a 5-year lease and not getting the renewal because somebody else got in front of them, or they just didn't remember to start prospecting or annually up into maybe 18 months or 24 months ahead, and then more intensively beginning the process of engagement. And we have our timelines, which can help map that out, so you can just program that in. And it used to be when you learn efficiency and 7 habits of effective people, or whatever it was, the night before you plan your day. And I think some people still do that, or maybe they come in the morning and plan their day, but you're too late then. And I think what Bobbie is saying is, like, if you're starting to map out next year now, by the time that you get to January, you've got a full plate.
Yeah.
You're going to know the most important things you need to do January 2nd when you get in, and then the 3rd and the 4th. So it looks blank in the beginning, but by building and building and building over time, it becomes a machine. And to your point, Bobbie, the people that thrived in the Great Recession that you talked about, when no one was doing any business in Phoenix, and particularly you were ground zero, there was very little, but those that were positioned as the market authority, the expert in the market, and that knew how to follow up, well, whatever little market there was, you were getting the market share. Yep. And so that's, I think, the great advice for anybody on the call to think about, okay, the ones that have done well in the past 12 months when the market's been thin, those are the people that have built a system, built a process, demonstrated their expertise in a geography or in a product type, and they're known to be the go-to resource because clients have problems. Just, our market stuff, the brokerage market stuff, but the client's market stuff. So they want to go to the person who is the expert. And these types of tools and techniques that you're talking about are helping you build your authority. Are you doing the same thing that you're talking about with prospects on properties? Building your data to refine your knowledge and to become different than what is commodity level information out in the market?
Yes, so on properties, I talked a little bit with Miller about building your comps, right? So lease comps are pretty tight-lipped, close to the chest. They're confidential. In our area, we're not allowed to record or post or let CoStar or Crexi know that what the lease rate was, what we did. We'll share it with an appraiser, but it's pretty confidential where it's not given. So you have to rely on your brokerage community. Like I said before, if you specialize in a sector, it really makes your life a lot easier, where you build that one-on-one relationship with all the brokers. You help each other out. We just lease. If you see something come off the market and it's been leased, to call the broker, congratulate them, great job. What happened? What was the deal? And I'll trade you comps. This is what we've done. Share with me what you've done. You go in, you put a picture in of the property for your comp, and you put in there who the tenant was, what the term was, how much TI and bated rent you got, and you just keep building that. If it was a 5-year, this is going to become vacant. So in 5 years from now, if it's a tight market, 3% vacancy like we've had in industrial and retail, you know what's coming available. So you are now taking control and being the market expert, right? But you have to plug it in. And then when you go for a listing, if you took the time to do your market research and add these on an ongoing basis, like I said, time block, right? So Friday from 12 to 1, that's the time I'm going to call all the industrial brokers, get the comps in the area, share comps, so that when I have a listing pitch or a tenant pitch, I already have all my comps and they're ready. And when you do a broker opinion of value or a lease report, if all your comps are in there with pictures, you just go in and print the report and you have all your comps in there that you need. Be the expert and try to do like research and reading and stuff like that after your golden hour. Eat the frog first. So the biggest, hairiest task that you have to do for the day, get that done first thing in the morning so that it's not hanging over your head all day long. Like a PowerPoint for RealNex. Don't do it at 11 o'clock the night before. Do it like.
But it not only when it's in RealNex, it's in the palm of your hand too. So you have all those comps. You're driving up to your next meeting. Before you walk in, you can look at your phone, boom, just refresh yourself on some little nuggets that you're going to share with your client to give them value. Say, here, did you know the deal across the street just closed for $32 a square foot? And that's the headline, but here's what's really happened. And here's what they got. That's the magic.
That's the magic. There's always a story, right, Jeff?
Yep.
And if the guy that is interviewing before you, like for a listing, and he's like, here's the comps, this is what they closed for, and you go and you say, these are the ones that are really close to yours, and this one closed at this, and the reason why it closed at this square foot is because it was a 30-day quick close cash deal. This one closed at this because it was the tenant that was already in the building and he was willing to pay more than anybody so he wouldn't have to move. So now you have reasons for your comps, right? And a lot of that stuff you won't know unless you call the broker or it's you and you do the notes and you do your comps in there. And then you can link those to the properties too. And when you do a lease, let's say you have a listing, a lease listing or a sale listing, you go into the property. Let's see if I can pull this over. I'm afraid to expand it all the way and not be able to get out. There we go. I'll hit escape, right? So Estrella, this one we're doing, hopefully nobody's from Phoenix. We have the listing already anyway, but we may be putting it on the market. But we have the rent roll, we have, so here you have all the spaces you're building here's your rent roll, right? And then all the attachments, you have all the leases, the surveys, how are we doing on time?
We're good.
Okay, amendments, and then you just go to presentations. But this, you just run it right into a broker opinion of value, print it out. You can email it to them and it's a flip deck. And then you have the deal room here. So I don't have any pictures or anything, but it just makes it. Oops. Where's BOV at?
Under the template, under file, under template. Oh, you have your BOV section of your, yeah, down. There you go.
Down?
No, can't, the screen's a little small. It's one of the modules. Oh. Here we go.
And then you can customize it so that every time you do a broker opinion of value, the comps pull over, you have your comps. it's just so easy to do. I just wanted to see if I could do, so here's your comps, right? Rank comps. And let's just pull.
And you mentioned this inside of the comp. Now you can adjust it to say this is maybe superior or inferior, and it does the adjusting calculations for you.
And you pull it.
Normalize that.
And then it has all the pictures with it, and it all depends on what property you are. You can pull others over that are in your database. But what I like about it is when you do a preview, and then it just opens like this. I love how it flips like a magazine. And then if you go like that and you're like, I did a presentation on a Zoom meeting for a listing, and I just pulled this up and just flipped through it, and it was, you know, the attorney loved it. But it's,
yes, so just when you do the fully blown opinion value, it'll have your discounted cash flow analysis, your comps analysis, your narrative. And so all of that comes together to create an incredible presentation. It's very swiftly and help you win business. And then all that information is there for you to turn into your OM. So you don't have to redundantly enter.
But the point was that if you do the work ahead of time while you're on the phone, while you're talking to people, go out, take pictures of the property, go to presentation, you can do the analysis right here, and then you can list the property live, and then you can create your comps right out of the property, and everything's linked.
And just for those who don't know, with the mobile app, the pictures Bobbie was talking about, you can take the picture with your mobile app and it's automatically geocoded and linked to your property and to your website and your environment. So quickly walking and working the field, you can build your database and own it and own all your pictures. So the recording will be, we have a library of hundreds of recordings of different sessions over time in YouTube. So we will send this out to everybody, but it'll also be hosted there if you need it or want to refer to somebody. There was a question about the voice function on the phone. That's just on the bottom of your phone. It's not part of RealNex, actually, it's part of your device. So whenever you have a note field, there's a microphone icon at the bottom. Just click on that and talk, and that'll input directly into RealNex.
Just like whenever you're talk to text, it's the same thing, just that little microphone thing.
Let's see, what else? Just a lot of, well done, Bobbie, great tips. Thank you very much. So we appreciate all of you for joining us and the feedback. Any other questions before we wrap up? Right on time. Thank you, Bobbie, so much. Perfect. Really appreciate your sharing your insights and experience with us, and you're helping people to build the habits, because sometimes that's the hardest thing to do, is how do you get started? And it looks intimidating. People come in and say, how do I build to where you are? Well, you don't do it day one. You get there over time. You take those steps every day, take a step every day, take another step. Build the blocks, build the time, build the follow-up, build your database. Getting information in is very easy. We've got a great import engine to get you started. The Outlook sync or Gmail sync gets you started fast. It builds your contacts, your calendar, and your history is right out of the gate. But then it's just working it and keeping it live throughout the day, so that you have your, instead of turning to your notepad, you turn to RealNex, you update it, and there you go. You start to have something that becomes more valuable with each use. So thanks everyone for attending, and thank you, Bobbie, for sharing. We really appreciate it. And once again, you've got a great team in Phoenix. If you need any help, Bobbie's there to work with you.
Thank you, everybody. See you at Mastermind.